everyone, Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs, and today's video we are going to work on 3 of the Octagon Shadowbox Box Cards. What a mouthful. If you haven't seen these before, I've done a bunch of them, but this is what they are. So they are this fun octagon shape. They fold flat and then you pop them up and they have layers. And that is what they look like. This is the cherry blossom. They are blank on the back side, so they are perfect for writing your message, a note. You could add a little gift card to the back of there, whatever you want. They pop up, they fold flat. They do fit in this envelope that I have available, and it is called the pop-up, I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, it's on there. The platform, sorry, it's the platform pop-up envelope. And it just fits perfectly. And then you just pull them out and display it. So I have 3 today, and these are all about water fun. It's summertime, I love the water, and so that's what our cards are. We have 3 of them. So let's go ahead and get started. And we will start with our sailboat. So I'm gonna bring this up here, and then I will show you the pieces and as we assemble it. So this is your first piece. It's the outer frame. And it has the outer frame, and then it has your sailboat. And the sailboat has these 3 small window frames that are completely optional. They're small. My machine didn't have any problem cutting them out, but if you don't want to use them, you don't have to cut those out. That is an optional piece. Then we have our sailboat. Whoops, let me grab it. The sailboat has 2 sails. It has the base, it has the pole, and then the background, you will cut this out of whatever color you want your flag and your windows. And it's all just one piece. So I'm going to set that to the side. Your first layer is pretty simple. It has the number 1, so you know that it's the first layer, and it just has a wave. Your second layer is also pretty simple. There's number 2. It has the wave and the sun, which has the circle and the sun. Your third piece has 2 clouds. And then your background layer is just 1 piece. So to assemble this, we're just going to glue all of these pieces first. And I actually like to fold my pieces first so that I know where to put the embellishment pieces. So we're going to start by folding it. Everything gets folded up towards you. So I'm just going to bring this up, and I just use a little scraper tool or a bone folder to get a nice crisp fold on there. And now we can glue the clouds. And these clouds they are actually the same, they're just flipped. So you don't need to worry too much about getting everything lined up. Just remember that they are flipped in the opposite direction, and they will cut that way as well. So we're going to add 1 cloud right there. And I'm just using my Scotch tacky glue, quick dry tacky glue. And I've got it in a small quilling bottle. So there is our back layer, or our third layer. Now we have layer number 2. We're going to do the same thing. We are going to take our tabs and we are going to fold them up. And now we can add the sun. And the center of the sun. And the wave. So on this card, I have 3 colors of blue. I cut out my card pieces in the lightest blue. This wave is the darkest blue, and then the other wave is the medium blue. You can use whatever colors you want. There is our second layer, and this is our first layer. So again, I'm going to fold everything up towards me. And then we're just going to add this wave. And you want to make sure that the wave pieces are going in the correct direction. And I do like to get glue on the tips of those waves so that as the card gets folded back and forth, it won't catch. All right, now we have our front piece. So the front piece, all of the tabs get scored down or away from you. So we have two on this side, one on the tab and one on the side. And then two on this side as well, one on the tab and one on the side. Okay. Now let's go ahead and build our boat, our little sailboat. So I'm going to glue this background piece on first. And again, you want to make sure that you get those little corners because you don't want it to catch. I'm just going to line everything up. And I just noticed that when I was cutting this, it had a little drag right there. I think I need a new blade. There we go. Okay, the next piece that goes on. I'm struggling with that. I tore it. There we go. The next piece that goes on is our pole. I can't see around the arm. I've been asking my husband to mount a camera up on my ceiling so I'm not working around this pole. So maybe someday. Okay, next is the bottom. I'm going to place the bottom on there. And then the sails. And you could do these sails out of any color that you wanted to. I saw somebody that did one of my cards and they did it all in white. They did all the layers, they did everything, but it was all the pieces were white and it was stunning. It was so pretty. So you can do whatever colors you want, or you could do it all in white. And now we have these 3 window frames that you can put on. I really like them. I think they add a lot of detail to the boat, but they are tiny. So it's a totally optional piece. But I just love the little look of it. I love details, but sometimes to get details, you have to do tiny pieces. Whoops. And I could be doing this with my tweezers. That would have helped. Okay, now normally I would let that dry before I flip it over, but we want to get this done, so I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to take my first layer. It has the number 1. We're going to flip it to the back, and we're going to put tape on the back of both of those tabs. And then, you've seen this before, I'm going to take the edge of this tab and I'm going to put it right behind the score line on this right side. You want to match up the top and the bottom. So the tab is cut at an angle. Let me bring this up. The tab is cut at an angle, but the bottom of it and the top of it will match that side tab on the card. And then we're just going to flip it over and press it. And now I'm going to take this tab and I'm going to put it right behind the score line over here. I'm going to fold it down and just press it right there. And then I like to fold mine back and forth a couple of times just to make sure that they're going to stick and that they are in the right place. So there is our first tab, or first layer. Now we're going to get our second layer. There's our number 2. Same thing, we're going to flip it over and put tape on the 2 tabs. Okay, this tab right here, the edge of this tab is going to go right behind the edge of that first tab, matching the top and bottom. Again, we're at an angle, but we're matching the top and the bottom. Now fold it over and do the same thing over here. Put the edge, this edge, right behind the edge of the first one. Press it, go back and forth. And if your paper does start to bubble just a hair, I've explained this before, it's just the weight of your paper and it's going to be fine. If it really is wavy and bubbly, you might want to take it off and line it back up again. But that little bit of bubble is fine. Okay, then we have our last one. So we're going to flip it over, put tape on both sides. That did not get, there we go. And same thing again, we're going to take the edge of the tab, put it right behind that second tab, flip it over, and you'll notice that you have a little bit of a gap before this flap, and that is so that these are all evenly spaced. So we're going to take this tab, bring it over here. Let me see, can I see that? Hold it back and forth, do it on a flat surface, and there we go. So now we're going to open it up and I'm going to put tape. So you can either do it this way or you can flip it over and get the outside of those tabs. Either way, you want the outside of your tab to have tape on it. I'll just put it on there. I'm going to flip it over. And get that side right there. And now we can take our back piece, and this one's pretty simple because the back piece is just one piece, and we're going to line it up. Place it right there. Match it up over here on this side. And there we go. Now there is your card. It flips both ways. And there is our Sailboat Octagon Shadowbox Box Card. And it does help to bend it a couple of times and make sure everything is the way that it's supposed to be. So isn't that such a fun card? Perfect for the lake person or the person who likes this to be on the boat. Okay, next one is our Under the Sea Mermaid one, Mermaid box card. And I made this in honor of my granddaughter. She is 100% into Little Mermaids. So this is for her. Okay, same thing, goes together the same way. This one does have a few more pieces than the last one. So here is our front piece, and it has 2 seashells. It has the starfish, which has 2 layers, and the shell, which also has 2 layers, and the piece of sand. Our first layer just has the mermaid tail. So we have the tail with the scales cut out, and then this back piece, and you'll cut this out of whatever color you want your scales. The second piece is our seaweed and our sand. So there's 2 pieces of seaweed and the sand. Our third layer is the fish, and so our fish has 2 layers, has the full body and then just the body, and then it has a little teeny tiny eye. And again, your machine will cut that out, but it is pretty tiny. So if you don't want to do that, you can leave the eye off, or you could take a black Sharpie and just make a dot, or you can cut it from the paper and glue it on there, and it will work great. And then our background layer actually has 2 pieces. It has the same color as the frame, and then it has the bubbles, the under the sea bubbles. And so I just did this in a little bit lighter color. So let's go ahead and do this one first. And I'm gonna just take my glue bottle. And glue it down there. And then just match it up. All the edges are the same. And you could turn this any way that you want it. I kind of like this blank space down at the bottom because you're not really going to see that blank space. So this will go on the bottom of your card. And that piece is ready to go. Now we've got our little fish. So I'm going to glue his body on next, or first. And this piece, the fins are going to show. So whatever color you want your fins, your tail and your top fin, is the color you will cut that piece out of. And then this piece is just the body. And then again, we have the eye. When you're working with something that small, it's almost easier to put the dot of glue on the larger background piece and then take your little piece and just drop it on there. And the glue's gonna seep out for a minute, but when it dries, it will dry clear. Okay, now we have our seaweed. So I'm gonna start with my sand and put it on first. Okay, so glue down my sand piece, and then we have our seaweed. And I'm going to worry more about the leaves than I am the stem so that it doesn't catch on anything. And we have this seaweed. And again, you could do this card in any color you wanted to. I kind of liked the aquamarine color that I found. I thought that worked really well for this one. Oh, and you know what? I told you to bend all those tabs down before putting that together, and I didn't do it. So we'll repent when we do this piece. So there's our tail. Let's go ahead and fold that up. I'll have to catch those other 2 pieces when we assemble it. Fold that one up. Fold that one up. Do the scale color first. And it does not come all the way down. Oh, you know what? I did it on the wrong side. It's okay. So we're going to do it on this side. This one is not symmetrical. So you're going to want to make sure you get the right sides going. And now we can add this tail. And again, make sure you've got it going in the right direction. And just line that up. Luckily, my glue will dry clear. Now that I've done this, you could fill those scales in with glue and add some glitter. That would be really pretty. Kind of a mistake. I don't like making mistakes, but I like finding ways to make mistakes work. Okay, and then we have our front, and all of these pieces are going to get folded down. We have our sand. And then let's glue our two seashells together first. So I'm going to take this one. Glue it. And then we have the little shell. And again, don't worry about getting every little piece, but you want to kind of get the edges. And the shell does have some of the darker color showing through. Okay, and then we can add this first. My brown, I don't like this brown. I don't like the paper that I got. It was some that I had from another project, and I'm not loving it. But it'll work. Okay, so there is our frame, or the outside of our card. All right, I totally did those in the wrong order, so I took it apart and I'm going to redo it. So here is our outer frame with the seashells, and we're going to start with layer number 1. And it has the one on the right hand side. When I flip it over, the one is going to be on the left hand side, and to keep everything layered in the way that it needs to be, you want your number on the left hand side when it's upside down. So I have folded these up towards me, turned it over, flipped it over, and I'm going to put tape on those 2 tabs. Okay, we're going to bring the edge of what is now the right side, and we are going to put the edge of that tab, that outer edge, right behind the score line of this tab. I'm going to line it up and make sure the top and the bottom line up. Just like that. If I open it up, that's what it looks like. There's the score line, and then we have the top of the, or bottom of the card and the top of the card. I'm going to bring it over, and we're going to take this edge that has the number, the outer edge that has the number, and it is going to go right behind that score line. I'm going to move it a couple times to make sure it's all working. Okay, now we're going to take layer number 2. This is where I messed up. That's 3. I almost did it again. We're going to take layer number 2. It's in the front. We're going to flip it over and put tape on those 2 tabs. My desk is getting sticky. Again, when we flip it over, the number is reading backwards and it's on the left side. So we're going to take the edge of this tab and line it up right behind that first tab. Right behind the score and matching the top and the bottom. Let's bring it over here and do the same thing. Move it a couple of times. And now we can take our final one. This is the number 3 that I keep trying to put on there. I must like that little fish. I'm going to flip it over. Number 3 is again backwards, but on the left side. I'm going to put tape on both tabs. Make sure number 3 is on the left side so the fish is in the right place. I'm going to take the edge of this tab and put it right behind that second tab, lining up the top and the bottom. Bring it over to this side. This edge, the outer edge, goes right behind that second tab. I'm going to move it back and forth a couple of times. It is starting to wobble a little bit. That might be because I had to take it apart, or it might be because I'm using texture paper. And then if you'll notice, you still have a little bit of gap, and that is so that you have the same spacing all the way through the card. Okay, so we're going to put tape on the outside of those 2 tabs. Oops. And then we're going to take our background, the bubbles or the bubble-less, the empty spot is on the bottom. I'm going to match it up with that tab. Flip it over and match it up with that tab. Press both, move it back and forth. And there is our Under the Sea Little Mermaid box card, Shadowbox Box Card. So fun. My little granddaughter is going to love this. Okay, one more. This one does have a few pieces. It's kind of like the mermaid one. This is our sandcastle or beach card, and I am going to actually do a little bit of inking on this one. I try to make these so that the inking is optional. You don't have to do them, but you can if you want to. Because we're doing a lot of different colors of brown for the sand, I am going to ink them up a little bit. And I cut out a couple of extra pieces because I wasn't really sure what color I wanted to do those. So I'm just going to set those to the side. Our frame piece has the sand and the little shovel. Our first layer has the sandcastle, and it has the 2 roof pieces and, oh my goodness, can't pick that up. And that smaller piece. We have the front of the sandcastle, and then we have the back of the sandcastle. And then the first piece is just cut out like that. The second layer, we have the sun. It has 2 layers again. We have the beach bucket or beach pail. So we have the actual pail and then the lip, and you can, this is an optional piece if you wanted to do it in a different color, if you wanted to ink it, if you wanted to foam pop dot it to give it a little bit of dimension, you can, or you can ignore that piece, up to you. We have the actual bucket. The only piece that is going to show on this is the handle. So I cut mine from white. And then we have the piece of sand. And there is our number 2 layer. Number 3 is pretty easy. It's just the wave. I'll make a little dot right there. And then the background, oh, I cut an extra one. You're going to have 2 backgrounds. This again is an optional piece. So first I cut it out of the same color as the rest of my card so that it matches on the back. But then I wanted this to look more like the sky, and so I cut another piece out of blue. You have 2 pieces in your file. You do not have to use them. So I'm going to do this one very first. And just match this up. And that is our background. Okay, we're going to take layer number 3. We're going to fold the tabs up towards us. I do think it's a little bit easier to fold your tabs before you've decorated the card for the layers. And then this one is just the water. And you could ink this up too if you wanted to, give it a little bit more dimension. I'm just going to lay that on there so it matches up along the bottom and all of those wave pieces. And that piece is done. That is number 3. So now we have number 2. And I didn't cut the number in that, so I need to put the number in there when I, oh, that's the frame. That's why. Oh my goodness, I am so losing it today. Okay, so then we have piece number 2. Let's bring in piece number 2, and we're going to fold that up again, up towards us. And I'm going to add my sun. And this doesn't have to be twisted and turned. It should just, any way that you lay it will match up. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't, but this piece it does. We've got our sun. The next piece is the sand, and this is the piece I want to highlight a little bit. So when I highlight things, I like to use my distress crayons. These are the Tim Holtz. You could use chalk, just about anything that you have on hand, an ink pad. I like this, and then I use a makeup wedge, and I just cut it in half. So all I'm going to do, and I'm using the dark brown. In fact, I am actually using the walnut stain. Just color a little bit on there. And I love this because I think it just gives it a soft look that's buildable. So you can add more if you want it, but it starts off just kind of soft. And I do think I want a little bit heavier in a couple of spots, not all of it. Okay, so there is my sand. And I'm just going to glue that on there. And now we can take our bucket. And again, the only piece that's going to show actually on this is the handle. Then we have the bucket pail part. And since I have my crayons out, I think I'll go ahead and do that one as well. So I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to use the same. I'm going to use the brown on this too and just go really light, just along the edge. In fact, I'm doing it so light, I don't even know if it's showing up on the camera, but it will when I lay it down. Put a little bit of glue on there. And there is our bucket. I need, okay, that's laying down. Okay, then we have the first layer, and that is our sandcastle. So that one I really am going to ink up, but I'm just gonna kind of do lightly on these pieces. And you don't have to do the whole thing because remember the roof is going to be covered. So I'm just kind of doing it a little bit. Let's go ahead and glue that on there. Sorry, I took that out of the camera. Line that up. And now I am going to go a little bit darker on these pieces. Totally optional. Does not have to be done. If you're not going to do it, I would suggest you use 2 different shades of brown that are a little more different than what I did. Mine were pretty close to the same. They're different, but they're pretty close. So if you don't want to ink it, I would do 2 different colors of brown. One roof piece. The other roof piece. My tummy's growling. It's time for lunch. And then this ledge piece. Okay, let's take our tabs and fold them up towards us. I already glued that piece on, so let's okay, and now we can add these pieces. Right there. Yeah, the inking really does help that because my 2 browns were so close to the same color. For the ledge, I'm going to put the glue on first and then put the piece on. Okay, there is our piece number 1, the sandcastle, and now we have the frame. So again, I'm going to take my tabs and bend them down this time. The frames or the front part of the card, everything gets bent down. The inside layers, everything gets folded up towards you. All right, because I inked up all the other sand, I'm going to ink this one up as well. And this sand piece is not symmetrical, so you're going to want to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. There we go. So this tall bump goes on the top next to the shovel. Let's add some glue to that. Put it right there. Just like that. And then we have our shovel. It's kind of a little piece, but it cuts out fine. I'm amazed at what these machines can cut. They can go pretty tiny. All right, so now we can go ahead and assemble this card as well. We're going to take our frame and we're going to flip it over backwards. We are going to find piece 1 or layer 1. There it is. We're going to flip it upside down as well and put tape on both sides. And I explained this on the other 2 cards, but just in case you jumped ahead to this one, let me tell you that when you flip it over, so when you have it sitting up, the number is on the right-hand side when it's face forward. When you flip it over, all of your numbers should be on the left-hand side, and they are going to read backwards. And if you do that, everything will line up the way that it's supposed to. So we're going to take this edge right here, this outer edge, and we are going to line it up right behind the score line on this right side. I'm going to just line that up. And you want to make sure that the top and the bottom match. So there you go. There, I don't know how well you can see that. There's a little angle that the top and the bottom match up. I'm going to flip it over, and then you're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to take that outer edge and line it up right behind the score line on this left side. Just like that. And I like to bend it back and forth a couple times. Okay, now we're going to take layer number 2. There's your 2. It's on the right-hand side. We're going to flip it over. It's now on the left-hand side. We're going to put tape on both tabs. Once you've done 1 or 2 of these cards, they're pretty easy because they all go together the same exact way. Okay, we're going to take this edge right here, this outer edge, and line it up right behind that first tab, matching the top and the bottom of the side. Bring it over, take the outer edge and put it right behind that second tab, or that first tab. And I've got some glue that hasn't dried yet. Fold it back and forth, okay? Take our 3rd layer, flip it over, put tape on both tabs. I feel like a broken record. Take the outer edge and line it up right behind that second tab, matching the top and the bottom. You're still going to have a gap, that's so everything lines up or is evenly spaced. And then this one's going to come over here. Same thing. And it has a gap. Bend it a couple times, make sure everything is folding. Then we're going to put tape on the outside of the 2 back tabs, those last 2 tabs. Get tape on there. Bring your back so it has the blue for the sky is on the inside, and the yellow or whatever color you're going to cut this card from is on the outside. We're just going to line that up on one side, and I like to just kind of match it up first before I press it, just in case your layers are not all 100% even. Okay, and there is our final card, the beach card or the sand castle. So much fun. Little Mermaid, I still think is my favorite. Sailboat, I actually love them all. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you'll give 1 or 2 or all 3 of these cards a try. Please hit subscribe down below so you don't miss any of my videos. Give me a thumbs up and have a great day.